Okay, Project 56 Merc, cab corner. So you can see that we got pretty lucky on this one, considering what the front was. There's hardly any rust there at all. There's a little bit on the inside. Show you that in a second. So that means we're only going to cut off a little bit. And I know that when you get your cab corner, it's pretty big. But don't use her all. Just use what you need. Actually, yeah, I got the wrong cab corner. It's for the other side. That's alright. I'm just going to show you what I got going on over here. Let's focus that up for you. It's not too bad. Couple little pinholes here and there that we can weld up. And one little patch there at the top. We'll get rid of that little brace thing. And that'll be okay. Now, if you've been following me along here, you can kind of notice that I've got the cab off the frame now. It's on a little cart that I built. And it makes it a little nicer just to pop it in. I got a little more room in the shop now. It's going to be a little bit more fun. Well, let's get grinding. Tear into it and see what we got. Alright, we got her cut out. It don't look too bad. Just a little bit of a panel that we got to put there. Now when I build that, it's just basically a rectangular panel. I'm going to bring it down lower than what it is by a little bit, and then we'll just grind it flat and flush. That way there's no guessing. Now, it's always interesting what comes out of a cab corner. Just a bunch of compost this time, but on the last truck I did, I got a shotgun shell and a bunch of other stuff, and it's kind of a little history corner. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Today, just dirt. Okay, I'll build a little panel there. We'll probably pull this out, give it a little bit of a sandblast, clean it up a little bit, and then we can start putting it together. Alright, let's make a piece that fits in there, weld her up. Okay, just came back from sandblasting this corner. And of course, sandblasting usually brings up something. Sure enough, I got a little bit more rust to fix on the inside. But all that is just another patch. So we'll take because it's on a big curve like that, you can't really just take a straight piece. You're going to have to do a little template. So we'll get our beer box out, make a pattern, make a piece, weld her in. We're fitting this little panel up here. Now when you're doing these panels, they're not perfect. So the most important thing to do is make sure that this lines up with this. Now when we do that, what ends up happening is it pulls the panel a little bit this way. So we're going to have to add a little bit on here because I've kept the original edge over here. So, and you're going to have to monkey with this. This doesn't fit very well, but you just may have to do a little cutting, a little banging. But once you get that fitting in there, it'll be good. But yeah, just make sure that this is fitting, because if this doesn't fit, then you're not going to get a nice tight fit on the bottom, and then you can get a lot of water and rust in there. What we have to make sure, put a couple more holes in here, that way we can do our spot weld in there, plug weld, weld her all together. Okay, so now I'll cut that out, and then we'll just do a little fitting and shaping. I'm not going to bore you with all that stuff. I'll show you the finished product. Well, maybe I'll show you a little bit over here. So I got this extended a little bit, but I'm not going to trim it until I get ready to weld it. Last thing you want to do is put this on. Don't go welding it because you're all excited. We want to make sure that we get all the structure done first, and then what we'll do is come in and prime the inside, caulk any welds or anything like that, just to kind of prevent any future rust. So this is your last piece to put on. Now, when I come across and I got to do a little cutting going this way, it's pretty hard to get your grinder in there without doing a whole bunch of damage. So what I do is just use my little die grinder and just take your time with it, and it'll make your little cut. You're good to go. Just a little more with the grinder up here. That'll pop off, and then we can fix that. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to put this little panel in right here. Now, if we do this after this one, then we can't get in with the grinder, all that stuff. So whatever it takes to make life easy, just do it. If you're wondering, this is just a magnet out of an old speaker. Not the best, but that's what I got. Make that'll work. So we weld that up. Get this all cleaned up, and then we can work on this panel. Okay, just a bit of a tip for you. Make sure you grind this with so that you can get it ready for filler. And then what I'd use is just a 24 grit pad, and I just use an old zip cut in behind here, and that way you can get in there. A little hard to get in there when this panel's in. Okay, on to this one. Okay, we got that done. Looks really good. So we've got everything kind of flanged up except for the corner, the cab corner itself. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everything's nice and clean inside of here, prime it, and then we'll caulk all of our welds just to make sure that, maybe we'll give it a couple extra years before it starts rusting again. Who knows? We'll get that cleaned up, and then we can put the cab corner on. Let's move to the other side. Alright, as you can see on this side here, quite a bit worse than the last one. But all that means is just another patch up here. But whatever you do, I know the first thing a lot of people want to do is just cut it all out of there. But just do one little piece at a time, that way you keep your shape and you don't have to worry about guessing. Unless you had a panel, but they don't make anything for this, so go slow, one step at a time, and it'll be beautiful. Okay, now we got everything ready to go for our cab corner. As you can see, I've primed, and all my welds, I've put a little seam sealer on there just to kind of seal up, and a little indent. It'll just keep dust out of there. It'll be good for the future. So once we've got this panel set up nice, fitting good, you may end up having to, you know, recurve this a little bit to match up the original. I've actually had to put a cut down here. These panels are pretty good, but they're not real good. So you have to do a little bit of manipulating. Put a couple holes here so that I can plug weld that to here. And that, now we're ready to go. So what I'll do is I'll get it all set up. And what I like to do is I like to work from the middle out, but I want to make sure that, you know, we start here, maybe tack here and then tack here. That way, if we start here and work our way around, this whole panel can move one way or the other. So I'll get her all set up and tacked up, and then we'll show you another little trick that I do. Okay, we're welding this up. Now one of the things that happens when you're welding is these welds kind of shrink the metal. And what can happen is this can fold in on you and you get yourself a little bit of a dip there. So what I do, so I've just actually got a piece of angle iron in there, putting some pressure right where I'm welding here, and actually kind of pushing it out just a little tiny bit. And when I release that, it'll be pretty flat. So remember, 1/4 inch at a time, let everything cool. The longer you take welding this up, the better results that you're going to get, so just take your time. So we'll weld this up, then we're ready to grind, and then on to the next stage of the body work. As you can see, I've got everything all welded up and ground, and now we're at the stage where we're ready for body work. I hope you stay tuned for that episode as well, and I really thank you for watching this one. Enjoy.